Hello, I'm Annette Young and welcome to the 51%, a show about women reshaping our world coming up. Tunisia is marking 50 years since it became the only Arab nation to legalise abortion, yet it is still very much viewed as a taboo and women face many obstacles in order to access the procedure. Also, a new wave of feminism is beginning to emerge in the Arab world, but just how successful will it be? I'll be talking shortly to Lina Abirafeh, a specialist on women's rights in the region.
Nice! What? I was just looking at her.
And a UK campaign seeking to end public harassment of women uses a powerful video which shows men making excuses for inappropriate behaviour. But first, in Tunisia is celebrating 50 years since the right to abortion was granted, far ahead of many other countries in the region, not to mention the world. Yet, despite this, conservative values have kept the procedure a social taboo, and many women turn to the private sector in order to avoid doctors who decline to carry out the procedure for ideological reasons. This report from our team on the ground.
In this clinic in Tunis, Selma has just finished a follow-up with her gynecologist after her first pregnancy termination.
There's nothing left. This is your uterus.
She stands by her choice, but she wishes to remain anonymous.
I'm still afraid of the stigma attached to this choice. Social public opinion, even people I know.
It's a fear which made her go directly to the private sector, despite abortions being free at public sector clinics.
I read a lot about the experiences of other people. Most Tunisian women who went to the public system spoke about their interaction with medical staff who weren't professional, with people who tried to change their minds or delay it endlessly.
Delays can also prevent women from taking the simpler option of an abortion pill. Tunisia doesn't allow the medication for women who are more than 9 weeks pregnant. After that, they need to turn to surgical abortion. The procedure is rarely available due to a lack of resources and staff. In the private sector, abortion is expensive, costing about 600 dinars or about 180 euros.
It's true that it's a right. Family planning in Tunisia was truly the jewel of the Arab Muslim world. We were at the forefront of access to abortion in 1973, even before France. It's a shame where we are, here, now, and that we're regressing.
Some doctors and feminist activists continue to fight to change attitudes and raise awareness about this right. Since 2012, this organization has been training medical staff.
We've developed our trainings a lot, especially what we call the clarification of values to change the attitudes of providers and to challenge the negativity towards women.
The right to abortion has managed to survive the resurgent conservatism that followed the 2011 revolution, but it is still under threat. The continuing economic crisis of the last decade has drastically hit health and family planning budgets.
Now, it's close to 13 years since the Arab Spring began, and the hope it would lead to better conditions for all living in the region, especially women, have been somewhat eroded. But now the Arab world is beginning to see a new generation of feminists who view women's rights as part of a wider democratic struggle and one that goes beyond class and religious secular divides. For more on this, I'm joined by Lina Abirafeh, the former Executive Director of the Arab Institute for Women and an analyst on women's rights in the region. Lina, thank you so much for your time. It appears we're now witnessing another wave of feminism in the Arab world, but what makes this movement different to others?
Well, in this region, we are talking about 22 countries that are extremely diverse, economically, sociopolitically, but if there's one thing they have in common, it's patriarchy. And it's a pushback against women's rights and fundamental freedoms. Overall in the region, we are plagued by crises that show no signs of abating, wars that have gone on for generations, like Iraq, Syria, Palestine, Yemen. This region is a tough place to be. It's a tough place to be a young person. It's a tough place to be a woman. So what's happening now with this new wave of feminist movement is it is young, it is led by women and men who, frankly, have had enough. It is intersectional, it's interconnected, it's crossing national boundaries And it is talking about all the issues that are plaguing young people, the lack of access to economic opportunity, corruption, environmental degradation, and the full range of human rights and fundamental freedoms.
Lina, now let's take a whistle-stop tour through the region, beginning with Tunisia, which is known as the birthplace of the Arab Spring. And as we just saw there, the first Arab nation to legalise abortion in 1973. But there has been some backsliding on the gender equality front in recent years. And in what way has that actually happened?
Tunisia is the leader, is our pioneer, but unfortunately, as you've said, there has been backsliding. They've removed gender equality provisions from the constitution. There's been a failure to fully implement the law that protects women from all forms of violence, which is a clear problem. There still remains a lack of full bodily autonomy and integrity. And there is even a reduction in women's participation in the labour force. There is a conservative movement taking hold. And as we heard from the previous clip, women's bodily autonomy and integrity continues to be under question.
And if we head to Saudi Arabia, the government there is seeking to reform laws to increase women's participation in society, such as lifting the ban on women driving, but also at the same time imprisoning women's rights activists. So what is the state of feminism in that country?
The Crown Prince has a very ambitious agenda, Agenda 2030, that includes mostly economic measures, but also engages women in terms of increasing their participation in the labour force, for instance. But discriminatory provisions remain, most notably in personal status codes. These are the laws that really codify discrimination, in fact, because they refer to women's most personal, intimate, critical aspects, marriage, divorce, child custody, inheritance, and all of those things being determined by religion means that women are put at a fundamental disadvantage. So there is a long way to go yet in Saudi Arabia.
And if we turn to Lebanon, and that's undergone enormous economic upheaval while also recovering from that huge explosion which ripped Beirut apart in 2020, where women bore the brunt of that disaster. Yet it's also a country that's producing some very interesting feminists, such as Hatira, a women's-led media platform.
Lebanon has been hit by one challenge after another. And this is a once middle-income country that is now 80% below the poverty line. And women and young people really bear the brunt of that. So yes, there are women on the front lines. They are fighting and protesting. They are organizing online in innovative ways. But the challenges remain. Lebanon, too, has personal status codes because of its sectarian system. And there are 15 different codes that align with the different sects, meaning that there's no universal, uniform secular law for women, for women's bodies and lives, and their most intimate decisions. So Lebanon itself has a long way to go as well.
So keeping in mind we're talking about 22 countries, will this latest wave of feminism actually succeed?
You know, I'll tell you a story. There's a young woman who asked me if I think that women's rights will ever be a matter of fact and not a matter of fight in the Arab region. And I told her, absolutely yes. I wake up every day for this fight, and they are the ones that will see it through to fact. I really believe that this is the region, this is the generation in this region that is finally going to make those changes take hold.
Lina Abirafeh, it's been great speaking to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Annette.
And an inquiry here in France has found as much as 90% of pornographic content online features verbal, physical and sexual violence directed towards women. It also says a significant amount of violence shown is punishable under existing laws in France. The nation's High Council for Equality, who carried out the inquiry, is urging the government now to make changes to the law in order to prosecute makers of pornography. It also wants the content to be removed so as to protect those who have been filmed. And finally, here's a video that's gone viral for very good reasons. It's a powerful new campaign that's aimed at tackling everyday harassment and inappropriate male behaviour towards women and girls. The Just Don't campaign was created by Tracy Brabham, the Mayor of West Yorkshire in the UK, and her team. She's also the first woman to be in the job as well. Anyway, do take a look.
Nice. What? was just looking at her. I was just looking at her ass. Honestly, I was just
being nice. I was just telling her to smile more. She might just smile more if I grab her.
Body is well fit. I just found the socials. I've been liking all the pics too. Just sent her a picture of my...
Big one, love! Just saying, she might like it. Just ask her if she needed a daddy. Just seeing if I can put her in her place. Just saying I could if I wanted to. Just letting her know. Just saying, I know where she lives. "86% of young women in the UK have experienced sexual harassment in public." Shocked? It's not banter, it's not harmless, and it's not okay. So just don't. Find out more and how you can help bring about change.
And definitely food for thought. And that's it for this edition. We'd love to hear your suggestions for the 51%, so do get in touch via Facebook, Instagram or Twitter, and you can catch our previous episodes on our website. So until our next show, bye for now.